Alright, let's take a closer look at our drum rack track and select the area around the main part at bar 33 here. And Ableton 10 comes with a new audio effect called Drum Bus, and we're going to use this one on our drums. Going to drag it to the end of this device view here. And the drum bus was created to help you perform typical steps you would perform especially on your drums anyways, like compression, maybe saturation, or adding a bit of crunch and distortion. And we have all of that in one tool. So let's quickly solo our drums here and play it with the default setting and without it. So first without it. Now with it. Could also check what kind of presets are coming with this one. Crisp, bump, and drum sharpener. Okay, let's say drum sharpener. What does that do? Well, the hi-hats and claps are so much sharper with that preset. Let's go to the default one and create a setting for our underlying drums here. So we want to make sure to fill up the frequencies a bit more since we're using a lot of samples here and some of them are sounding quite digital and we want to make them feel a bit more natural. So I'm going to play around with the crunch, which adds extra distortion to the mid-high frequencies, and whatever happens on that crunch knob gets damped or somehow filtered by this damp knob down here. So let me exaggerate the crunch effect for a moment. And then play around with the damp knob, dampening the overall signal after processing. So you see it seems to work like a soft filter. And down here we can work on the transients and emphasize or de-emphasize the transients of mid and high frequencies. So I'm putting the dampening back up to 10K, and now let's play around with the transients. Okay, it's getting very loud right now. I'm taking down the output for a second. So crazy emphasis on our transients and de-emphasizing. So depending on what you're looking for, you can really emphasize the transients of your audio or, make them kind of smoother and focus more on what comes later. So I'm going to play around to find a decent setting for our drum rack here. So I'm going to leave this one open. I don't really want to have everything sound too lo-fi. So not too much damping on the overall thing and maybe reducing our transients just a little bit. Alright, and if we move over here to the drive and compression section, drive is actually the amount of drive we're applying to the input signal. So not what happens after the crunch, but before that. So let's play around with that knob quickly. Let's just select a moderate drive here. And now we have the soft drive distortion applied, which is wave shaping distortion. We also have limiting distortion and clipping distortion. So let's try these out, putting the drive to somewhere around 44 or something. Putting it even higher. Okay, we're going to keep it at soft for now, and I'm not going to apply too much here. Keeping it around 10 for now. And we're moving down. We have a compressor here that applies a fixed compressor before the input distortion. So this is actually what happens before this drive. We already compress. So adding it in. So we're a lot louder now, and we have this trim fader up here, and that one reduces the input level. So we can kind of move in the opposite direction of the compression effect here. So the effect is clearly noticeable. We are beefing up the mid frequencies and the high frequencies. We don't work too much with low frequencies here because our kick is outside of this drums group, and everything that's happening in this boom area here with low frequencies and decay and so on will actually be used on like bass frequencies and all that. And changes we are making in this area here will be applied to the mid and high frequencies. Now I'm putting the output back up to 0 decibels. I can actually enter the value here. And we also have the option to adjust the dry wet down here to see how much we want to apply the overall effect. And I'm going to keep it at 100 right now. Just want to have a quick look at our toms here in the back. They seem to get a lot louder with this drum bus on our track. So yeah, absolutely. So we are going to the front and we are taking our toms, and we can easily take them down 10 decibels. So maybe around 14. Okay, that's a bit too much. So 12. Well, depends a bit on how you like it. And just to be sure, we applied some saturation and distortion here, and we're going to add in another EQ8 just to make sure we are not piling up too many low frequencies here. And I'm putting in a low cut around 100 Hertz. Alright, and moving out, take another look at where we are actually playing our drums. Quickly selecting everything, and I'm going to distribute them a bit more over the arrangement quickly. For example, I want to start playing the clap at bar 5 here. So I'm going to drag this longer, or I need to copy it in this case. So I'm just going to do that and go into this clip and take off this hi-hat. And now we will start playing the clap from bar 5. And I'm going to adjust the drum elements a little bit as we are going to play through this track one more time. clap is really loud. Bring that one down a bit. Going on here. Placing this lead before the second drop. Alright, so we're going to cut the last 5 minutes basically. We're going back to the part where we're just standing at this low cut EQ here on the drum rack after adjusting the volume of the toms here. Alright, so we're moving on to the next step.